I mean, it completely transformed the way I feel day to day and totally just changed my mindset as well. I still struggle with chronic pain. I think that it gave me a sense of control over my health. I was noticing my weight increase, and it was also tied to, I knew I wasn't eating well. Like I was aware to a certain degree. I knew kind of what was going on and why it was happening. I just was having trouble stopping it and managing it on my own. You could see it in my face. I was just like, just depressed and frustrated with myself. I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was I saw shirtless pictures of myself. Like I gained like a noticeable amount of weight, and also like I knew I was eating way too much while I was on that trip. It just really all clicked for me, and I was just like, all right, this is not working. Like, something's got to change. Came in at about, I think I was like 205, and then I reached out, and by the time I reached out, I panicked when I was 205, so I kind of like cut my eating a little bit, and then like 2 weeks later I reached out to you and I was about 201. Once I started to feel like I had control, which happened pretty quickly, it just changed everything for me. It changed like my daily outlook on life, to be honest. It doesn't have to radically change or ruin your life in terms of eating. If you just need to learn how to be moderate and reasonable. I had to buy all new clothes, which I was actually stoked about because I was like struggling with my confidence, and I didn't feel good in my clothes. A lot of people commenting on it and thinking that I was on Ozempic or something, and I'm like, like, how'd you lose so much weight so quickly? I ended up overshooting the 180 goal, and we got to about 175, I think maybe even 174 at one point. This approach has really worked for me and has totally transformed my life. Like I said, hasn't fixed my chronic pain, but it's improved every single aspect of my life. Give it a shot. Reach out to Zach. It's 100% worth it. I promise.
Awesome, Dylan. Well, thanks for joining me today, man. It's great to see you again. I just want to kind of walk through your experience with Core Elements, your transformation, and hopefully there's something in there people watching can relate to and learn from. Sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for having me, man. And it's really great to check in. It's been a couple months since we've worked together, and I'm doing really well. Yeah, it's definitely good timing. Definitely good timing.
So let's just start. Just tell me a little bit about yourself. What you do for work, your family life. Like what's keeping you busy right now? Let's just start there.
Yeah, for sure. So my day job is I'm an aerospace engineer. I work from home, which is really nice, and I'm also an actor as well. So that's my passion, side hustle. And live in Austin. I just got married, and I'm from Austin. Zach and I have known each other for a very long time. Since early elementary school, actually, is when we first met.
Third grade.
Yeah. It's been a long time. And so just a little bit of background on how we got connected in this regard was I was not in a great place with my overall health, had an injury in 2017 and still haven't really sorted it out, and in a lot of pain, and had really kind of started to lose control of my diet, and just didn't like how I was feeling overall, and kind of felt like I was in a rut. Didn't know how to get out of it. And I saw that Zach was on Instagram and that he was helping people with their metabolism and weight loss and overall health. And I decided to reach out and give it a shot. And I think that the thing that was really special or unique about what we did, Zach, was felt like it wasn't limiting. Like I don't think that that anything we did required like a huge, sacrifice or sort of like brutal lifestyle change or anything like that. I feel like it was a really holistic approach to health and to eating. And we worked together for 4 months, and it completely transformed the way I feel day to day, and totally just changed my mindset as well. I still struggle with chronic pain, which is unfortunate, and I'm working through it, but I think that it gave me a sense of control over my health, and feeling like I could really sort of just manage how I feel on a day-to-day basis, and feel good all the time. So
yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I know you came in kind of your energy has just completely changed. I wish people could see the difference in your face and things like that. But yeah, so you came in with this pain. Where were you? Like, do you remember some specifics as far as like, was there like a final straw when you were like, okay, I need to reach out to him, or had it just been kind of building up for a while? Like, was it your weight that was creeping up? How you felt
Yeah.
physically, how you felt mentally? Like, what was that space you were in?
So it was really a combination of all those things. I would say it was, I was just in a really bad headspace, and I knew that that was tied to my weight increase. And I was noticing my weight increase, and it was also tied to, I mean, I knew I wasn't eating well. Like I was aware to a certain degree. I wasn't just like, wow, how is this happening? I knew kind of what was going on and why it was happening. I just was having trouble stopping it and managing it on my own. And I had never really been in that situation before because, before I got injured, I was working out and I was eating well and was burning a ton of calories. And I never had that problem where I was like, oh, I'm gaining weight. What do I do? So, I'm 32 now, and I was 31 when I reached out. And, when you get into your 30s, your metabolism slows down naturally a little bit. And if you're not working out, that can happen. You could start to gain weight really easily. And I also wasn't moving around. And I feel like something that can happen with chronic pain, I think a lot of people with chronic pain should probably relate to this, is like once you are in pain and you get in a habit of like an avoidance pattern of like not wanting to move to avoid being in more pain, it's really like it snowballs, and you really start to just feel kind of stuck, and then you kind of forget how to move and how to start doing that again, and so yeah, it was a combination of all those things. So I was in a bad headspace, gaining weight, eating poorly, not moving around. And I think the straw that broke the camel's back for me was I went on a trip, a bachelor trip with some friends of mine to the Bahamas. And I saw shirtless pictures of myself. And it wasn't anything, it wasn't like extreme. Like I wasn't like, oh my God, I look horrible. I just was like, okay, like I gained like a noticeable amount of weight. And also like, I knew I was eating way too much while I was on that trip. And so I like immediately, it just really all clicked for me. And I was just like, all right, this is not working. Like, something's got to change. Like I gotta manage this. I'm totally indulging too much and just not being healthy. And and like you mentioned, my energy has changed, and I was just, you could see it in my face. I was just like, just depressed and frustrated with myself, and and using food to kind of try to escape that, and then like I said, all snowballs. So that was when I decided to reach out. And very glad I did.
Yeah, and you had come from a somewhat athletic background. I mean, you had lifted for a while in college. You had kind of paid attention to these things. So,
yes,
that having that experience makes it even more blaring when you kind of lose track of that a little bit. And how long had you been kind of stuck? I'll call it. Coming out of college, and then obviously you're 30 now. So like, well, how long did you wait before you kind of, how many, was that months, years?
So let's see. So in college, I lifted for the full, like 4.5 years, and counted my calories and was doing a combination of powerlifting and bodybuilding. And when you're counting your calories doing that, you're trying to make sure that you're getting enough. Right. You're like force feeding yourself, and it's very different than learning how to do it when you're in your 30s and just trying, and you're not working out heavily. You're just trying to maintain. So I came from that background of like trying to gain weight. Right. And then I got injured and couldn't lift at all, and really haven't been able to for years now, since probably like 2018. But there were long periods where I was at least exercising more. And I wasn't fully in that rut. So I would say like it was cyclical, but the weight gain didn't start until I was over 30, like the noticeable weight gain and the sort of like not moving around as much. And that rut, I would say, was probably like on and off for probably like 1.5 years. 2 years. But it just got worse. And
how much did you weigh when you came in?
I weighed I think about 200, 201 pounds. And I think before I contacted you, I think my max probably like a couple weeks before was like 205.
Yeah.
And like when I got back from that trip, and 205, if it's lean mass, I'm 6'3", and that would look great.
Yeah.
But it was not lean mass.
Yeah.
So it wasn't great. And it wasn't just that I looked terrible. It was that it just didn't feel good. Like I just felt bad. I could just feel that it was just like bad. And I was also bloated, just eating too many carbs. And yeah, it was just bad.
Yeah. And then, so I guess the next piece is like, what did you think was going to have to happen, like over that year or so, like leading up to this, or when you first reached out to me, what did you think you had to do to lose weight? Like had you tried anything else? That would be another way to look at that.
I mean, I think I knew I was going to have to cut carbs pretty heavily. And I knew that just because I'd worked out before and counted calories. So I had like some awareness. Yeah. But I think I thought that I was going to have to make a lot more sacrifices in terms of like, I was like, okay, I'm over 30 now. Like I'm never going to be able to have like the foods that I'm craving, like I personally, dude, I love cheeseburgers and fries. It's like, that's like a guilty pleasure for me. I'm not a big sweets guy, but that's like the thing that I crave when I do crave something. But I figured out how to still have that stuff. And like, I don't eat it all the time. I just don't get a milkshake when I get it. You know what I mean? Like I just, I just be smart about what toppings I put on the burger. Like it doesn't have to radically change or ruin your life in terms of eating. If you just need to learn how to be moderate and reasonable with things and not, use food as an escape and like 2 a.m. just binge 2,000 calories. I mean, you can do that. You could do that sometimes, but you don't want to be doing it like multiple times a week,
Yeah, 20% of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, like occasionally it's fine, but like I was doing it a lot. And so I think that's the thing that I was kind of relieved and surprised.
Bracing
to realize
more. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Bracing for like, this is going to be like miserable. And it actually isn't miserable. And I think the reason it's so sustainable is because it's not miserable.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to make yourself unhappy, that's not going to be sustainable. Whether it's with food or anything you're doing, workout routine, or like if it sucks, it's like not you can't do it.
It could be the best program in the world.
Totally. Yeah. But it's like if it doesn't suck and it's like actually you can still enjoy your life, then it really feels like it's just like, oh, this is a lifestyle now. It's not. Yeah, it doesn't take much effort.
And I think especially too, like between your work and this is also lining up with you getting married too. And so leading up to that, you had everything going on under the sun. So I think that just speaks to that.
Had a lot going on. And also I was going to say, we got married and went on our honeymoon, and I managed to really enjoy myself with food and drink. We had a beautiful honeymoon and, ate anything we wanted, but I made sure I stayed active. And even though I wasn't counting calories during those couple weeks, I didn't gain weight. I stayed the same weight because I was being mindful. So I think it's like, even if you have to take a break from tracking daily, you're still in that mindset and you still have a good idea of what you need to eat. So
you took that intuition with you on the trip. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What was the biggest change? Like, was there one thing where you were kind of surprised when we first started working together, something that made more of a difference than you thought, or less of a difference? Or we kind of already touched on that as far as like how it didn't feel extreme. Was there anything else that you noticed there?
I think that
it's okay if there's not one thing. There's no wrong answers here.
I mean, I think I'll just say one thing that I noticed change in myself quickly was the energy shift that we talked about. And it was like, once I started to feel like I had control, which happened pretty quickly, it just changed everything for me. It changed like my daily outlook on life, to be honest.
Amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. It really, I think it got me like re-engaged in like my day to day, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So that was something that I noticed quickly. Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. And so let's talk about like the actual kind of nuts and bolts here. Walk me through your results a little bit. I think you said you were 205 when you come in.
Yeah.
How did your weight change? We talked about energy a lot, but just anything else that you noticed kind of shift as we went. Clothes, whatever that is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. So came in at about, I think I was like 205, and then I reached out, and by the time I reached out, I panicked when I was 205. So I kind of like cut my eating a little bit, and then like 2 weeks later I reached out to you, and I was about 201, 200-ish. And we set a goal weight at the time of about 180. I was like, I want to get down to 180, and then, which is the lightest I've been since high school. And then once we get to 180, kind of bounce around that range. And if I gain a little bit of weight, it's okay. So we started, and I think we started with a pretty significant cut at first. We were just under 2,000 calories, which for someone my size is a pretty decent cut. And I was walking quite a bit, like 5,000 to 7,000 steps a day. And I think at first it was a little slow, but once you get your metabolism going, the weight comes off quickly. Like if you're consistent, which I was also very, very consistent, and I was very neurotic about tracking my calories. And I think that really helped. I guess I saw results quickly because I was really doing it. And once I got my metabolism going, the eating got so easy, and I was walking a lot, and it was rapid. So first of all, I had to buy all new clothes, which I was actually stoked about, because I was like struggling with my confidence, and I didn't feel good in my clothes. I didn't like the way that they fit. And also, one thing that my wife mentioned was she noticed I was buying shirts that were too big. And I didn't even, I was doing that unconsciously. Like I was sizing up my shirts because I just didn't like the way, and it wasn't like I was super fat or anything. I just didn't like the way I felt. And so, I went down a shirt size. My jeans from high school fit now. And, I went down a size in like almost everything, and I feel so much more confident in my clothes. So that was great. And I think that adds to the energy shift as well. Cause like you just feel better, and it's not just about looking better. It's like you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. And, a lot of people commenting on it and thinking that I was on Ozempic or something. And I'm like, I'm not on anything. Just like, thank you. Like, how'd you lose so much weight so quickly? And I was like, I just stopped eating horribly, stopped binging, and started moving around. And
I'll do it.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, it's nothing crazy complicated. It's pretty much common sense stuff.
I love the arc from the neuroticism around the tracking and getting the data accurate to just letting it rip on your honeymoon. I think that's a really cool spectrum. And I think the tracking can be overwhelming sometimes, but once you get the data accurate in your brain, you start to feel what that feels like in your body. Your intuition really does take over at a certain point. So that's cool to see in real time there.
Yeah, totally. I think the tracking is really overwhelming at first, especially if you're somebody who has never tracked calories before. Like I said, I tracked when I was weightlifting and trying to gain weight. So I at least kind of had an idea of what it would be like. But at first, getting back into it, you're like, oh, this is a lot. Like I really got to be on it. But then you sort of realize that you can you get better at estimating as well. So like you don't get as stressed about eating out, because you can be like, okay, I have a rough idea of where I'm at. Yeah. And that, it just makes it easier. So
exactly. Yeah.
So,
and then how much time per week were you putting into this? Approximately, like how did you fit it into your work and to your social life, and what did that look like? Yeah.
So working from home makes this easy. I'm not going to lie. It obviously is still totally doable. If you have to work in an office, you just have to prep a little bit more. But working from home is great because I can take an hour lunch break and just cook, and meal prep during lunch. And Also live close to a grocery store, which makes this really easy. Live down the street.
Yes.
Uh, but I would say probably, I mean, meal prep maybe a couple hours a week. My wife is also a very healthy eater and works out, and that makes this a lot
Hmm.
easier. So,
Yes.
she cooks a ton, and we cook the same kind of food. So I would say probably like, I don't know, 30 minutes a day, 40
Yeah.
minutes a day if you include cooking something.
Yeah.
It's really not hard with the apps that we
Yeah.
use. It
Yes.
makes it really easy and
Yeah.
seamless, honestly.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, just looking back, kind of in that starting position or that year leading up to that, like either looking back and giving yourself advice or giving someone else advice in that similar position, like what would you tell someone that was feeling stuck or maybe limited by their body or by pain or by just a misunderstanding of food, whatever that might be? What would you tell that person now, having kind of shifted through this?
Well, one thing I'll say is, so if I'm speaking to someone who's not in pain, I will say,
Yeah.
don't take it for granted that you're not in pain, and know that this is going to be fairly easy. If you
Yeah.
can work out pain free, even if you don't want to lift heavy weights, if you at least can work out,
Yeah.
this is going to be a lot easier. And if I'm talking to somebody who's in pain,
Yeah.
it's tough, but getting control over your health and your eating and your weight is going to help you with that pain, because pain is a complicated thing. It's honestly all mental. And I think that when you are in a bad headspace, it amplifies pain, right? It's like there's a connection between negative thinking and pain. And I'm not saying, if you change your thinking, you're going to be totally pain free, but it definitely helps. And it definitely improves your ability to manage pain if you can change your mindset, right? If you wake up with a positive outlook, you can combat that negativity of that pain better. And so I think gaining control over your diet and your health in this way can absolutely directly impact that and help you do that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's an amazing perspective that you can provide that I honestly cannot. And we were working around some things that sometimes we don't have to, and to hear you talk about like the energetic and mental side of that is super powerful. And again, like I can't provide that, so that's really cool to hear both sides of that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything else that you wanted to share that I didn't ask or didn't cover? Just to round this out, we came in at 205. You left it 175. I think
Yeah.
we had to stop you because you kept. I remember now. You kept losing weight even
Yeah.
in when I moved you up into maintenance. So I remember us having to slow you down a little bit.
Yeah, once we got my metabolism rolling, I was burning a lot of calories and I just kept losing weight. So I ended up overshooting the 180 goal, and we got to about 175. I think maybe even 174 at one point.
Yeah.
And then at that
You were like,
point,
I don't want to lose more weight.
but my wife was like, "You got to stop losing weight," and I was like, "You're right." I wasn't even trying to at that point. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. Like I feel like I'm eating enough, but I had gotten so used to eating less carbs. So I bumped my calories back up to, I think we went to about 2,200, 2,300, and I have kept them at 2,350. And I allow myself to overshoot a little bit. Like sometimes I go 2,500 especially if I'm walking a lot or I'm like doing something, and go to 25, 2,600. And I am right at about between 178 and 181 pounds right now. And I will probably try to gain maybe like 2 more pounds, but I've had no issue with weight, and I've had no issue controlling it, and I'm able to stay in the range that I want. And yeah, if I drop too low, I just bump my calories a little bit and it's no problem.
You just adjust the system, right? And it's that control there. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think a big part of kind of getting out of that kind of mindset that you came in with, which I see a lot of guys in that similar position, the physical starts to affect the mental. It's hard to think your way out of that, right? And so what you did a great job of is just trusting me and taking some action and allowing the actions to like create this snowball for yourself, as opposed to trying to think your way out of it first. I think
Yeah.
that was something that I really noticed with you and a lot of other people. And it can be hard to take that first step without, lead with action instead of thought. I think that's a very unique thing there.
Yeah. I think that, I'm an engineer and I think
Yeah.
about things very scientifically.
Yeah.
And I saw what you were doing on Instagram and I could tell that, first of all, I know you personally.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
even though we had lost touch for a long time, like a lot of people do who grow up together, I remembered that we always got along, and I remembered that you were a really genuine person, and I also remembered that you were really passionate about athleticism and sports always. And I could tell that you were super passionate about this, and I could tell that your approach was scientific. You talked a lot about metabolism, and your workouts seemed really, really well curated and not like, they weren't bro lifts. Like
Yeah.
you were really thinking about what you were doing. It's very thoughtful, very conscientious, right? And very holistic. I think like just more healthy lifestyle oriented, right?
Yeah.
And so I just knew that I had never, my approach to fitness had always been just kind of like push, 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 and just like overdo it with everything. I was always trying to like gain weight, eat too much, and just push myself. And it was never about just like sustainability, longevity, and just being healthy, right? And I could tell that that's what you were about. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. I was aware that I didn't know how to do that and that I didn't have that mindset. And I was like, Zach seems like he knows how to do it, and I need to just trust him. I need to just reach out and just give it a shot.
Well, that's a great point you make, and like I think that's part of the reason why that's worked well for you, because you do have an analytical mind, and you apply that to your job. I mean, you're an engineer, you're an aerospace engineer. That's incredible. But I think you just learned how to apply that same analytical thinking to this pillar of your life, right? And
Yep.
I hope it clicked for you. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, same approach. I just treated it like I was just studying something new.
Yeah.
And was able to get really into it. So
Amazing, man. Cool.
yeah.
Well, anything else before we wrap up here? I really appreciate you sharing your story. It's really, really incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think overall, I'll just say that I'm really happy that I reached out, and this approach has really worked for me and has totally transformed my life. Like it really, like I said, hasn't fixed my chronic pain, but it's improved every single aspect of my life. It's improved my relationship with my wife. And I think that doing this before I got married was a really good idea, because we went on a honeymoon, we went scuba diving together, we were doing athletic stuff together, we went hiking, and like it came at the right time, and it couldn't be better. Couldn't be happier about it.
Incredible, brother. Well, I think this is going to help a lot of people to kind of see your perspective and see what's possible. And again, I really appreciate you sitting down and sharing this.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do it. And to everyone else out there, give it a shot. Reach out to Zach. It's 100% worth it. I promise.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It's good to see you, man.
Yeah, you too.